A warm welcome to everyone taking part in the info day of Loves Tech Sri Lanka. So I will be your host for the day, Sasmini Bandara, Program Manager at Hatch. And we have a lineup of brilliant ladies speaking to you today. So they are going to take you through what She Loves Tech Global Competition is all about and what does it mean for you to be a part of the local rounds. And one of the most important sessions we have planned for today is the application process walkthrough, and followed by a Q&A session where you can ask all the questions you have about She Loves Tech. So we have an audience joining from both Zoom and multiple Facebook pages. And if you have any question related to She Loves Tech Sri Lanka during this program, please direct them to us in the chat box on in Zoom or on the Facebook comment section. And first of all, let me warmly welcome all our presenters who are joining on live today, as well as everyone who is here today. So let's dive right in, right? So first we have Rhea See, co-founder of She Loves Tech, joining all the way from Manila to talk to you about how She Loves Tech provides opportunities for women in tech and women impact startups in the world. Rhea, over to you.
Thank you, Sasmini. Hi, everyone. I'm Rhea. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of She Loves Tech. So I guess today being an info session, we're all here today to know more about She Loves Tech, and I'm here to introduce She Loves Tech to all of you. So first things first, what is She Loves Tech? Who are we? She Loves Tech is an international nonprofit organization which is committed to closing the funding gap for women. We run the world's largest startup competition for women and technology, and we seek out and accelerate the best entrepreneurs and technologies for transformative impact. Our aim is to unlock $1 billion in capital by 2030 for women-led and women impact businesses. To date, we are currently in 50 over locations internationally, worldwide. We have had 5,000 or over 5,000 and counting startups join the platform, specifically the competition and other programs. And to date, our alumni startups, our finalist startups have managed to raise $250 million. And the programs, especially the competition, has garnered over 1 billion media impressions so far. So what do startups, what is a startup journey, right? When they join She Loves Tech? Well, first, they go through a sourcing process. So startups come into the platform, join She Loves Tech, and during this time, our team rigorously selects and evaluates all of the startups to ensure that we can have a stage full of amazing technologies and amazing startups that could represent each country and each location in the competition. The second step is basically the acceleration process, where we do intensive mentorship and various training and coaching for the startups to prepare them for their competitions. And finally, we have the final stage of resource matching. So aside from the competition, showcasing the startups in front of global influencers and leaders, we also provide different types of resources to enable startups to get investment, as well as other business opportunities during the competition, as well as post-competition. And of course, the journey with She Loves Tech starts with the competition. This year, we are, as mentioned, going to be in 50 over countries. We started in 2015 with just one competition, and now fast forward 7 years, we're the world's largest startup competition for women in technology. This is our second year in Sri Lanka working with Hatch, and we're very excited to meet new startups and new founders this year and see what kind of technologies emerge from the competition and hopefully get funded throughout this process. the timeline for this year, which is the most important, I think, that everyone cares about, is, as you can see, our global registration is starting now, and the deadline for applications is July 31st. After the global registration and the screening, all of the startups will go through various mentorship and different events and activities throughout August and September. And officially, all of the local competitions will start from September until October. So this is basically where you get to pitch and meet investors and meet like the global audience and basically showcase your own startup, right? And then after the local rounds, the winners of each competition will then move on to the global leg of the competition, starting with a boot camp, right? So all of the winners of each round will join a week-long boot camp at the end of October. And this week-long boot camp will include various workshops, various like mentorships, as well as different sessions to meet leading investors globally, as well as global tech leaders from companies like, let's say, Facebook, Google, Alibaba, Lazada, and so on. After the boot camp, we have an investor day prepared for all of the startups. So the investor demo day is essentially also a semi-final event where all of the startups will be able to, all of the winning startups will be able to pitch in front of a live audience, but at the same time also meet investors one-on-one to not only pitch for the sake of the competition, but also pitch for funding. For this investor demo day, all of the finalists from all of the rounds, including those that didn't win the local rounds, will also be able to attend and meet investors. Before finally, we will be selecting, startups from the semifinals to move on to the global finals, which will be happening in November, also during our global conference, which is another flagship activity or flagship event that we run every year. So last year during the conference, we had Ariana Huffington, we had Jane Sun from Trip.com, and we've had like Kathy Matsui, the woman who coined like Womenomics, for example. So it's really a stage filled with amazing leaders, and you will be pitching alongside these leaders and also in front of a global audience. So aside from, of course, those major milestones, this is just at a glance, the different rounds. So if you're from one of these countries, especially Sri Lanka, please, keep note of these dates. So the Sri Lanka round is going to be taking place on October 1st. So please, mark your calendars and please register before July 31st to ensure that you are able to join the competition. Finally, before I wrap up my introduction, I guess the big question is, what do I get joining the competition? Aside from all of the resource, aside from the general journey and experience, when you join a competition, you are basically competing to win up to $50,000 US from She Loves Tech, from our affiliate fund Teja Ventures, as well as our impact partner ADB Ventures. So there's a lot in store for you, and if you want to join, please make sure that you qualify. So if you're an early stage technology startup seeking seed, angel, or A round funding, and you have under $5 million US at point of registration, have a minimum viable product, are a technology startup, and of course have a gender lens, which means you are either a female founder, or or your startup has at least one female founder, or your product and service has majority users and consumers are women, then if you fulfill like these criteria, then you're the startup that we're looking for, and we hope that you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhea. Thank you for that insightful session. Love the energy and enthusiasm Global team is bringing to this community and the support you have provided. We are thrilled to be part of the global community She Loves Tech is creating. Thank you so much. So next up, we are going to talk to you about She Loves Tech Sri Lanka and the broader vision of Hatch and all our partners in the startup ecosystem. So please welcome Minuri Adasuriya, Head of Programs and Community Success at Hatch.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Great job, Saswini, hosting the show. We are so proud to be hosting She Loves Tech Sri Lanka for the second year of row here at Hatch. We are the lead partner for hosting the competition here in Sri Lanka. And we're very excited about the partnerships we've been able to build and the journey we've been able to come so far. And I'm really looking forward to sharing a bit more of that with you and hopefully encourage a few more applications to represent Sri Lanka to come our way, because we have an amazing history of entrepreneurship, especially of women, but we don't celebrate it as much. So this is our opportunity to do so. We have amazing, resilient, driven women, and we really want to share your success and your story with She Loves Tech. And we have an amazing lineup of past winners, great speakers to really encourage you to take this opportunity and make the best of it. So with the last, going on to what we do at Hatch. So we're very much committed to breeding the next generation of entrepreneurs to grow and help your ideas thrive, really, to come up with a product or service that really helps you achieve through a very novel mix of co-working, incubation, acceleration, events, and mentorship that we offer you, not just locally, but internationally as well. And we've created this amazing physical and mental space for those entrepreneurially minded to really grow and thrive, and really invite you when the time is right for you to come and visit Hatch and take part in more of the events and opportunities we present to everyone in Sri Lanka to become amazing entrepreneurs. We believe that any dreamer from any walk of life should be given a chance to create lasting change. And we invite you to create that with Hatch, starting with She Loves Tech. Last year, I must really acknowledge our partners who are with us in our journey to making She Loves Tech 2021 a success, starting with our local government partner, ICTA, our media partner, Arteculate, Diversity Collective, who is one of our pool of outreach partners, LSEG Technology, the Sustainable Education Foundation, SLASSCOM, and Women Techmakers. Thank you very much for being part of our journey to making She Loves Tech a success, and for your amazing support so far. So last year, we've had some amazing winners, starting with Urmila Chandrasekeram, who won first place as part of the team for Algorithm, who you'll be hearing from in a minute, and two other amazing winners. So we're hoping we'll be able to produce similar amazing winners this year around. And to reiterate what Rhea said, this is an opportunity for you to take your product to the global stage, to shine as a female Sri Lankan entrepreneur with an amazing prize pool on offer at the global stage. And with that, I really like to encourage everyone to partner with Hatch and She Loves Tech to make female entrepreneurship an amazing opportunity for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Minori. Thank you. We are looking forward to all these mentoring and knowledge sharing sessions we have planned for all our participants of She Loves Tech Sri Lanka, and it's going to be exciting few months. And this would be a great opportunity for all of you guys to network and fundraise in a global playing field. So now it is time for one of the most important sessions, and that is the application walkthrough. And let me invite Dulinika Bulumulla, Program and Community Associate at Hatch, to give you a comprehensive understanding of the steps to follow during the sign-up process. Duli, over to you.
Thank you, Sasmini. So I'll be taking you all through the entire registration process. To start off with, basically, if you have these three qualifications, you are eligible to register for the She Loves Tech competition. So if you are an early stage startup seeking for seed, angel or round A funding, or you have at least a minimum viable product or a past the conceptual stage, or if you're an entrepreneur, male or female, with a tech startup that is women-led or has a women impact, you are eligible to enter to this competition. So as the first step to register for the Sri Loves Tech competition, you will have to visit this link that we will add in the chat box as well. So once you click onto this link, you will be taken to the global Sri Loves Tech page, where you will have to sign up for the competition. So firstly, you will have to enter your name, your last name, your email, your phone number, and a password, and agree to the rules and regulations and click on the sign up button. Once that is done, you will be taken to the registration process, which consists of 5 steps. So once you are done with these 5 steps, you will be able to submit your application form. So the first step is the personal profile, and in this step, you will have to enter your contact details as the main contact person. So firstly, you will have to upload a profile picture, and then your LinkedIn profile and the title, and whether you are a first-time founder or you have previously founded a company, or if you have previously sold or exited a company, or if you have a technological background, or if you were in the senior management at the previous job. So all these options you will have to fill in order to process to the next step. So once that is done, you will be taken to the company overview step. Now in this step, it's basically that you will have to fill in all the details related to your company. And the main thing here is, which is really important, is to select which round you are registering for. So in that option, you need to select Sri Lanka, or else we won't be able to see your application form. So make sure when you select the round you're registering for, you need to select Sri Lanka. And you also have to select, submit your company name, your website, and the founding date of your company, a number of founders, company size, current valuation, and where your headquarters is located, and a business. You will also have to upload a business pitch deck and your company logo. And you will also have to include if your company has won any awards, prizes, or media coverage, and an elevator pitch as well. So an elevator pitch is basically a 15-minute pitch which you will be telling us about your company. So once this step is done, you will be taken to the third step of the registration process, and that is the market and gender matrix. In this process, mainly you will have to include the details of which industry and your market, which industry and the market your company falls into. So which industry your company is mainly in, if there are other industries apart from your primary industry your company covers, a business model, you will have to select the business model and what region or company you are interested in. Now in this, you will have to make sure you select the proper region, because this is not just a local competition, it's a global competition, and we will be there to support you throughout. So make sure you select the proper region and country. And then the next step is the gender lens matrix. This also correlates with the eligibility criteria. So when you're selecting the options, you need to select which criteria your company falls under. So if your company its technology creates a positive impact for women, you can select that option. And if your company has at least one female founder, you can select that option and select the answers accordingly. So once this step is done, you will be taken to the final step of the registration process, And this is this step also correlates with the eligibility criteria. So when you're filling this step as well, make sure all the details you select and you apply to you submit are all up to date and that they're accurate, because this will, if in case you put in wrong information, it will affect your registration and your application in the future. So make sure all of your details are accurate. So we have asked you to mention what stage your company is at, and if you're generating revenue, the revenue by year, if it's a B2C company, what's the total number of users, etc. And also the fundraising option, you have to select if you have raised capital before, so make sure your selection is accurate. And also the final one is growing your startup. This, we mainly want to identify your pain points, with the current pain points your company is going through, for us to identify, and then in the future of the competition we can match you. Your mentoring sessions and your discussion sessions will be we will be selecting from the pain points that you have given in your application. So that also you need to make sure you fill in the proper pain points which your company is currently facing. And finally, we would love to know how you have heard about Loves Tech Sri Lanka or the Loves Tech competition as a whole. So make sure you answer that as well, that will help us for the future in the next year's competition, where we can see how our outreach where our outreach has gone to, and how far Loves Tech. And also if there's another way you all have heard about Loves Tech, we can also communicate on those as well in the years to come. So finally, once that is done, you will be finishing your submission, and your submission will be submitted to the Loves Tech competition. So once that is done, you will be getting an email with all the information and the details. And also we have some good news. We have extended our registration to the 31st of July. So once you fill in your application form, you are able to edit your registration until the 31st of July. So while you fill in the application form, you will face a few in case you face a few technical issues when you're signing up, or when you're selecting the date for the founding date, or not even like getting messages like it's loading or processing. You don't have to worry about anything. Once you if that happens, we will get in touch with you, and we will send you all the relevant details in order to process the sign up for it to be for you to sign up for the Loves Tech competition. So in case you all have any questions regarding the registration process, you can ask your questions in the Q&A session that will be happening in a few minutes. So I think you all understood the entire process of how to register for Loves Tech. So, so in case you all have any questions, please tell us. You can ask questions from the Q&A session. Over to you, Sasmi.
Thank you. And nicely done. I doubt that they will have questions, because it was explained very clearly to all of them during your process. So anyway, if you have any questions related to any of the process, application and eligibility, or like what you will get out of this competition, we are happy to clarify all of that during our Q&A session as well. And please put them down in the chat or in the comment section on Facebook pages, and we will get back to you during Q&A session. So next up, let me warmly welcome Bani Chandrasena, Vice President of Diversity Collective. She is going to talk to you all about taking a risk and value of exposure through networks. So, Bani, over to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, what can I say that will help this process now? I've been listening to this whole thing, and obviously there are lots of support and lots of things that you all need to be doing. But I think what I'm trying to focus on, what each of you would be doing or have done to get yourselves ready to take this plunge from here. So if I may start with my background a little bit. If I look at my learning and academic and then going into the work side, I've done accounting, I did IT, believe it or not. I was working in banking, manufacturing, apparel, consulting, tech. Now, why am I sharing all this information, talking about all these different aspects? Because I think it's kind of important for all of us to realize the more experience we've had, the more diversity we've had in our experience, it's only going to help us. Is it necessarily going to help us today, tomorrow? I think the whole idea is to try and accumulate as much as possible because it will come in handy. So now I've had the luxury, or I think I've been privileged enough to be able to have been studying in Sri Lanka, studying abroad, in more than one school, a local school, an international school. But I think the aim for all of you should be to gather as much experience and as much networking as possible. And why is this thing networking? I think we've all heard it many times. It's important because you don't know where these relationships you build are actually going to come help you in what you're doing. So I think every one of the bridges that you make or connect with will be something that will be helpful to you on your journey. Especially in entrepreneurship, you don't know where, you don't know the kind of challenges or what's going to come your way in the future. Having as many people around you to support is great, like this team that you are talking to today, which is fabulous. But in the future, there will be problems that you might need answers to. There could be something that you hadn't thought of. There could be ideas that you need feedback on. The more people that you can bounce these ideas off of, I think the stronger you're going to be. It's going to make you more resilient. It's going to make whatever idea that you're trying to cultivate into something more than an idea, the stronger it's going to be. And I have to admit, I'm not comfortable going and talking to strangers. I'm sure some of you all are not also, but I always find if I have a specific answer I'm looking for, or I'm looking for some, I'm trying to get to a solution, then the conversation becomes a little bit easier because you're focused on trying to get to something. It's not just small talk, you're actually trying to get to a point. These are all tips I'm sharing and I think would be useful because I think we're all very different. I mean, diversity is what the world is made up of. And for us to be comfortable enough and confident enough to reach out and ask for help is the first step. So the fact that you are here today, I think, is step number one on success. But as you know, when you think of life, when you think of an entrepreneurial journey that you are going on, there will be highs and there will be lows. And the whole idea is to get yourself strong enough and resilient enough to be able to, take the bump, because you can always use the bump as a learning, as something to learn, to gain from if you do it the right way. So the other point I think that's really important, in my opinion, especially when it comes to starting something new, like all of y'all are trying to do, expanding from where you are at the moment, is your attitude. And what I mean by that is being ready to take on an element of risk. And I say this with all the love in the world, that most of us tend to want to stay in our safe space. The fact that y'all are starting a new business, I think y'all are ahead of the curve compared to everybody else, which is fabulous. And kudos to all of y'all. But as you go on this journey, taking risks is something that you have to get comfortable with. Taking calculated risk is something that you have to get comfortable with. Failing is something you have to get comfortable with. So the trick is the kind of attitude or the mindset that you have is what's going to actually help you on this journey. And some of these things that I'm saying is not just only relevant for startups and entrepreneurs, it is for life in general, but focusing on this audience at the moment. Taking that risk always has an upside and there could be a downside. I guess what I'm here to try and tell you is the upside is you took the risk and you're successful. The idea was fabulous and you moved forward. What's the downside? In my opinion, the downside, there is a lot of silver linings on the downside also. And I think that's what is important for all of us to focus on. If something goes wrong, the feedback that you get, the learning of why it didn't work is phenomenally helpful information. Take it in that spirit. That's what I mean by your attitude is what's going to make you the winner. It's not necessarily just what you do, it's just the perspective you have on everything that comes your way. Asking for feedback, I think, is something else that we all should strive for. And I would encourage all of you all to, keep trialing. It sometimes can be harsh, but I think that's really important, whether it be to develop the service or product that you're working on or to develop yourself as well. Getting feedback is very uncomfortable most of the time, but I think that's part of growth. That is part of how you strengthen yourself in order to be able to hear all of this feedback and use the best part of it. There will be stuff that you're going to hear that you're not going to like and you think is not relevant. Don't let that get you down. Take the part that you can work with, put the rest aside. I guess looking back on what I just spoke about, I think attitude is really key. Finding ways to keep your self-confidence up and surrounding yourself with support is important, and you kind of need to go look for it. Sometimes we tend to wait for somebody to nudge us, and I think Hatch, you're doing a fabulous job nudging us, but at the same time, all of us do need to look deep, because at the end of the day, most of us do have passions, we do have things that we want to do. It's us who hold us back. So I guess I'm here to try and encourage you to take that step and don't let you get in the way of moving forward. I guess the last point I would like to leave you with is I can come here and talk. Talk is cheap. I guess what I'm also here to say is now anyone who has seen my profile or listened to what I just said in the last 10 minutes is I have been in the corporate world, done lots of things, reached a certain level in my life, I think, in terms of success, in terms of aspiration. But I've also decided to try and walk the talk of what Hatch is suggesting. I might not be applying for this at this particular time, but from the corporate world, I also want to get involved in doing something new. I've been in corporate, I've been in HR, I've been in human resources, I've been in education. I'm going to try farming, which is something radically different. But I think personal growth and trying something new is, I think, what this whole program is about. And I think it should be what most of us are about as well, because you don't want to be stuck in what you've been doing all the time forever. You do need to try new things for, as I always say, for personal growth, as well as, it might be a great idea. It might be something that the world needs and no one else has thought of. And I think that's what today's beginning of the celebration is about, to come up with something new, try something new, and I hope and I really hope, and I would like to congratulate all of you all on taking that first step of being here. Make sure you take the second step of applying. And I'd like to leave you with this thought that applying doesn't necessarily mean you're applying to win. Great if you win, that should be one way of looking at it. But if you don't, it is the feedback that you get in terms of why you didn't succeed this time. What can you take from this experience that you can put into the next, so that the next time around you do better? And that kind of growth mindset, I think, is what's going to change you and how you progress here. I see my time is up. I hope that was helpful. All the very best. And over to you, Saskia.
Thank you, Bani. Lovely. And you were right. Nudging founders in the right direction is our strong suit, and most of all of our partners, actually. So that was very insightful and inspirational. Thank you so much, Bani. Just like Bani mentioned, entrepreneurial journey sure have its highs and lows, and networking, that is connecting with the right partners, investors, or programs, mentors, or just even like with the like-minded entrepreneurs around you, will make a big difference in facing these highs and lows. So yeah, we look forward to seeing more women entrepreneurs applying for the She Loves Tech Sri Lanka with a winning mindset to become a part of community of well-wishers and supporters. Yes, so in fact, our next speaker will tell you more about her journey in becoming the winner of She Loves Tech Sri Lanka last year. So please welcome Urmila Chandrasekeram, co-founder of Algorithm and the winner of She Loves Tech Sri Lanka 2020.
Thanks, Asmini. Hi all. I'll just briefly talk through like what my experience was like last year. So I got introduced to She Loves Tech last year through Hatch. I was working closely with Hatch since the beginning of Algorithm, I would say. And it was really great to see, because like I have a tech background. I have a background in electrical and computer systems engineering. But like female representation, at least in Sri Lanka, what I saw in tech industry was quite low. And on top of that, like even though we have a lot of female, founders or females in entrepreneurship, like the tech-related startups, the representation was fairly kind of, like low, I would say. But this is a great forum for like to encourage more of women to get into this industry. And it was really great to see, because last year there was so many women from different parts of Sri Lanka. I got to know like different types of businesses, and that was really great. And the mentoring programs and the mentors that Hatch has organized for us. So I was a person who was really backward when it comes to speaking. I was not a public speaker, but I guess like I was feeling a little bit comfortable like talking in front of camera right now, or in a forum. That was mainly because of so many trainings and mentoring programs that I've gone through. And that's exactly what, the whole journey in She Loves Tech also takes you through. On a global arena, I know last time was the first time She Loves Tech went virtual completely. So we kind of went into like different break rooms where we got to interact with different other founders from other countries. And it really gives you the global like overview, because everyone has come up with an idea based on like problem that's existing in that country. So it kind of gives you the full picture of like, oh, okay, in this region, this is what you're facing and this is what's lacking. And everyone was in like different stages of their startups. And like you really kind of learn like how to kind of, when you're an early stage startup, okay, how to go to the next level. And from there, like, how do you, seek investment? So that's something that we learned from other founders who have raised investment, because at that time we hadn't raised investment. So it was nice to interact with other founders and also get the mentoring. And I would definitely recommend everyone applying for this. There's a lot of learnings that you get and a lot of people that you interact and so on. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you, Rhea. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your winning moment with us, and thank you for stressing throughout the competition. Like, it is about the exposure that She Loves Tech will provide you as well. Thank you for stressing out on that fact, and it will give you a local and global exposure as well. So since we have extended the application deadline, you have time until 31st of July to apply, and look forward to receiving your application. So now it is time for the most awaited segment, that is the questions and answers session. For this session, I have Helena, Global Program Manager of She Loves Tech, joining with me to answer all the questions you have. Hi, Helena. Okay, cool.
Hi, Sasmini.
All right. Let's see whether we have any questions right now.
Yeah. Hi, Urmila too. It's been a long time since we last met.
Hi, Helena.
How's everything going on? Good?
Good. How are you?
Happy for you. I'm good too. We're moving bigger this year. We're
Hi,
covering like 50 plus countries plus
Yeah.
regions, so I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I guess last time everyone, what all the founders were saying is that, oh, wish it was not virtual, but unfortunately it's pandemic.
Yeah. No worries. Once the pandemic is done, then we are thinking to invite it all at 2020 until 2021. Potentially, let's see how long that this actually extended. So we're thinking to have like an offline event where we invite all the different founders back to Beijing. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So since we are operating on multiple platforms, until questions come in, there are a few frequently asked questions that has always come through to us. So let's just dive right into those questions, Helena.
Right.
One of the I'll go first, and then I'll ask a few more questions from the global aspect from you as well.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we always got during last year was like, what is the eligibility criteria, and explain to everyone. So if you just joined the webinar just now, so I'm going to repeat it for like the third or fourth time now. The eligibility criteria, what we are looking at is there are three criteria. First one is you have to be an early stage startup who is seeking seed, angel, or A round funding under $5 million. The second criteria with at least a minimum viable product or a working prototype, and this has to be past ideation stage as well. And the third criteria is you also have to be a technology startup fulfilling one of the gender lens. So we have four criteria for our gender lens, and the first one is you have to be either a female founder, or have majority female users, or have majority female consumers, or a platform or a product with technology behind your product impacts women positively. So those are the eligibility criteria, and if you have any sort of confusion as to where you fit in, whether you fit right into the eligibility criteria, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us through our social media pages. We would love to sort of clarify how you fit into any of these criteria for you. Another question that we always get, and I'm pretty sure that you know this already, does my business need to have a female founder? Can I participate if I am a man? How would you answer that, Helena?
Yeah, so this is one of the confusion that we always wanted to clear out. So that I guess that it's just a good chance for us to actually clarify it here. So remember that just now, I guess that the Hatch team actually did a very good job in explaining what the criteria are. So just to re-clarify that in terms of the gender lens, remember that we have like 4 kind of like different criteria, where first you need to have like a female founders in the team, right? So fulfilling any one of those 4 will make you eligible for the competition. So for example, if you already have a female entrepreneurs or female founders in the team, then you are automatically considered as eligible. So what if you do not have a female entrepreneur in your founding team? Then you go to the second portion. So do you have a significant proportion of your end user or consumers is actually female? Then if yes, then you consider as eligible as well. So to answer that question more straightforward, Shashmini, is that if you are not a female founder, but your products is actually made or specifically designed for women user in mind, then you are eligible. So if you're a man, but your product itself, the product itself of your own startup is actually targeting to solve women's issues or to help women to have a better impact, or majority of your users surprisingly turn out to be female, then you're considered as eligible for the competition. So one of the examples that we can give, like one of the best examples that we can give last year, is because Milu Lab from Thailand was actually represented by a male founder. So Milu Lab is actually a startup that actually designed solutions for breast cancers. So the product itself is actually targeted for women, right? But the founders is actually male. So that particular startup, as Milu Labs, actually have every rights, every eligibility to be in the competition. So if you're a male founder, we encourage you to come and register for the competition. Yeah, so no worries at all for that, because everybody thought that this is like a competition for women in technology, but that's not just women in technology, because it's an effort to make an empowered women lead and women impacted business, right? So if you're, regardless men or women, if your product is actually helping and creating impact for women, then you're all eligible. Yeah.
True. Yes, and in fact, we had during our last year, one of the shortlisted applicants were Think Drive, which was a platform which provides safe ride-sharing experience to women. So and like there was it was a technology-backed product as well. So and the founder was one of our dear entrepreneurs, a male entrepreneur as well. So you can get shortlisted as well if it is a product that is catered to women, to impact in women positively. And we have a question that has come in. Helena, would you like to take it? So this is asking, what do you look for a winning application at a global level? I think we can talk about like how the evaluation criteria go and yeah, the process.
Definitely. So as just now, I guess that my co-founder actually mentioned that we've been through like a process of screening, right? So in the pool of a lot of registration, we need to have certain kind of criteria for us to select out those who we think possibility in terms of competing in the global stage. So first, I guess that it also involved in a lot of different spectrum in that sense, but in the bigger picture, I can just give like a few kind of like pinpoint on the things that we are looking at. So first, definitely we look at market opportunity. So for example, we look at what is the problem that you're solving and how well is your solutions, how practical and how scalability of the solution is. So depending on the size of your market opportunity, potentially your target market or your customers, and how is your pricing model, how is your core revenue model, kind of thing like that, in terms of a lot about the market opportunity of your startup. And then second thing, we're looking at your team. So because a good startup actually needs to build up from a strong team. So basically your founders and your team, is that background of your team actually supports what you need to do or the solutions that you're actually giving in your startups. So that is the second criteria. Potentially the third criteria is the level of your innovations. So the originality, the innovative, and also the thoughtfulness of your whole solution. So for example, how different you are compared to other people, and how different user actually have in terms of experience, in terms of how they use your products or how they use your solution. That's the innovation part and the competitive advantage that you actually have with compared to all the other startups. And then the fourth one is your traction. So for example, tractions to date, how is the relationship with the key market and how measurable the future could go. So your achievement milestones. So for example, if you have potential milestones that you can foresee, you set up your different milestones and then predictably the trajectory of how you'll be able to get your customers, make sure that your tech develop and stuff. So that is the traction we'll also be looking at. And the last one will be about your scalability. So what is your long-term plans? What is your marketing, your sales strategies? How is your how will you be able to sustain and also develop your own plan of your startup? So for example, during this particular time of COVID, very competitive time, right? Very difficult time. So how do you think of how will your team sustain yourself, and how would your team be able to compete with somebody else in this competitive time, in this struggle time? So that are all the different criteria that we're looking at. So to rephrase, we'll look at first your scalability, second your traction, third one is your innovation, is the level of how special your solutions are. Fourth one is your founders and your team. The fifth one will be your market opportunity. So those are the 5 main criteria that we're looking at when we're screening your startups. And I guess that it's a lot, but definitely we look all through of that through your registration. So basically we got the information from the information that you put into your registration as well as your PowerPoint, which is your business plan.
Yes. And you can read more about these evaluation criteria and everything on She Loves Tech website as well in the FAQ section.
Yes.
So we have one more question that has come through, which asks whether my English has to be good to apply. Would you like to take that?
Yes. May I know that are you from Sri Lanka or?
I think so.
Maybe.
The question has come from a different social media platform, and I just got the question.
Got it. Okay, so generally, I would need to say that yes, in that sense. So because the competition actually goes through like 2 stages. So the first stage actually happens within the Lanka Round itself. So for example, in Sri Lanka, we have one in Sri Lanka, and we have 25 more rounds. So in total, we have 25 rounds. Minus the Sri Lanka, we have 24 rounds. So this 24 round actually covers 50 plus countries and regions where we only have one common language, which is English. So at the first stage, when every rounds happen locally, we do have the flexibility where they can actually pitch in their own language. So for example, in France, they can actually pitch in French. So maybe in some Latin America or from Mexico or from Chile or South Europe, they can actually pitch in Spanish. Same goes to Korea, same goes to China and also Japan. But when you win, let's say that you win the local round and you have to move into the global round, it's a platform or it's a play game, let's say, where everybody has to pitch or everybody have to communicate in English. So to a certain level of extent, you have a command of English that can communicate. I guess that's good enough. You don't have to be like super expert, but at least you need to be able to communicate in English. So once you be able to communicate in English and be able to effectively tell us in your pitch, how did you want it to be more special compared to other people, then I guess that should be pretty okay. Yeah.
Yes, and also a few more things to add is basically after you apply, you become part of our collective efforts to uplift startups which are supporting women entrepreneurs and women impact tech startups. So it won't be just about winning, sending in this application. So if you get selected, you will get trained by us. If you mention your pain points during your the application process as well. And the other thing is like you can also become a part of a larger community of partners, support networks where you will be able to get more support to apply to She Loves Tech and pitch in English and win next year. So it is all about that last mile and going bit far more than just winning, and which has been been like stressed about throughout this info day today.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so mentoring support is also available as long as you can mention all of that in your application process as well. One of the other questions we can move into, I have a few more questions that I already had got from a few founders. One of the other questions I had was, what would you, how will She Loves Tech competition work during the COVID-19 situation? So I will answer that since it is more related to the local round right now. And just like Urmila mentioned, She Loves Tech went 100% virtual last year. And by the time it came to us, it was virtual, and like the global competition to everything is virtual. So because of the COVID-19 situation, all the mentoring sessions to knowledge sharing sessions, all of that will be conducted virtual. And we will be building that global village virtually this year as well. But one of these days in the coming years, we would all be able to meet at least the winners or like shortlisted applicants. So we will have like meetups when all these physical restrictions are not there anymore. Just one last question. Helena, we have been talking about this throughout the info day. It is about the benefits. So would you also like to sort of round it up for everyone? How will a startup benefit out of applying, and then after applying, after they get selected to the global round, what benefits do they have?
Got it. It's a huge one. There's just a lot of benefits that you can actually say. So I'll try to kind of like conclude it into three main parts. So how did we be able to help a startup as a whole? So first, of course, like Urmila also mentioned, we actually create a global ecosystem for women in technology. So how did that global ecosystem actually be created? It's because you're not just being exposed into a group of people who are within your local round or within your local ecosystem. It was actually a global ecosystem where you get to know, you get to meet and you get to know all these different startups, all these different founders. So it's a group of people where all these different ideas are brainstorm and clash. So once these things clashes together, then you'll be able to learn from one another. You'll be able to grow from one another. So you're not just only looking at how the startup ecosystem work in your own region, that's in Sri Lanka. You also get to expose to those around the world. So imagine that if you win this competition, or if you win the local round, even though you didn't win the local round, once you apply, you get into a pool of registrations where people get to know one another, and you'll be able to compete. You'll be able to get exposed and connected to all these different startups where this particular thing create like a different exposures for you. You'll be able to network with them. You'll be able to know how people are actually doing things differently from our own local ecosystem, and you'll also be able to share your experience and to learn alongside. So that is one of the global exposure that you have, because you'll be featured in global place. You'll be known by global ecosystem. You'll also be exposed to global investors. So that is the global ecosystem in terms of the first phase, where how we be able to help you guys in terms of leveling up. Second one is that once you enter the competition, we actually champion the best entrepreneurs through educations and workshops. So we have a lot of different kind of mentorships and workshops. So what we need to do is that once we have this pool of startups, the main thing that you need to do is to get more education, right? So education part means that we will create like a lot of different workshops, panel discussions. You can have trainings, you can have programs where you can also have mentorship sessions with a lot of global mentors. So global mentors meaning that you only not be able to match with, let's say if you're a local, if you're a startup from Sri Lanka, you're not just going to match with the mentors from Sri Lanka. You're going to be matched with the mentors globally, right? We have our official She Loves Tech office hour, where we invite different mentors every month, and we open the slots to all our She Loves Tech alumni. So whoever that actually registered with us before is actually eligible to apply. So this global mentors actually includes those who are very influential. We have those from Ant Finance, we have those from Google, Microsoft for startups, we have from Facebook, we have from Biden's. All these are actually considered as our monthly mentorship sessions, where we open slots for all our startups to apply. That is an ongoing kind of like monthly thing that's happening. We also have a mentorship sessions currently, I think just 2 to 3 months ago, with Cocoon Capital, where we invite 40 plus global mentors together that mentors more than 100 plus startups. So these are all actually eligible for all that have applied with She Loves Tech. So we only open this to our own kind of like startup community, so that we help you guys to be better, because the most important part of startup to level up from one stage to another is that you get the proper guidance, you get the proper mentor to teach you what are the different strategy and what are the different steps that you should take. So that's the second one. The third one is that we be able to actually literally scale you from one stage to another by investments and also by funds and also different opportunity. Because when you apply with the She Loves Tech competition, you will be entered into a group of platform. You'll be pulled into a platform where this platform is actually accessible to our investors. So we will be able to share your informations or recommend you to certain kind of investors when they come and search for better startups or for a good portfolio. Yeah, so just one of the examples that we can actually share is that our previous India local winner, Jenica, she actually secured 1.4 million US dollar funding from SOSV. So these are SOSV is actually a very close partners that we have with She Loves Tech for all these years, and we have a lot more partners like this would be able to provide more impact and also create more funds for startups. So long story short, we could be able to level you up and your startup up in a lot of different ways. So please join us, register for the competition, and okay? You won't be understanding with all these different things without being in that situations by yourself. You just need to apply, get selected, go into the program, and you will know what makes you best.
Thank you, Helena, and lovely.
Yeah.
If you if you want to apply right now with Serve, all our links are available on the comment section on our Facebook Live video. And also, if you're joining from Zoom, we have it in the chat box as well. So that's it for the questions that has come our way for now. And if you need any more answers for any of the questions you have, feel free to reach out to She Loves Tech Global team or She Loves Tech Sri Lanka team. Better to reach out to us actually, so we would be able to give you more information on our social media and Hatch or any other of our local partners, Arteculate, Diversity Collective, Women Tech Changemakers, and everyone else is also available for you at your disposal to answer all these questions. ICTA, who is our national partner as well. So yeah, that's it for the day. And thank you everyone for an insightful info day. So let me take a moment to thank all our local and global partners who are making She Loves Tech possible in Sri Lanka, and amazing Hatch team who is behind this event, and She Loves Tech Global team. Thank you, Helena, for joining us, and also Rani and Rhea. All our speakers today, and all of you who took time off your busy schedule to listen in and learn about She Loves Tech. You took that first step to support us, and we are thrilled to have you. So look forward to seeing more applications before the deadline on 31st of July. Signing off, your host for the day, Sasmini Bandar. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sasmini.